Ric Flair recently revealed the three men who he thought killed WCW, and not even 3 days later, the Nature Boy is issuing a full blown apology on Twitter in response to Jim Herd, Eric Bischoff, and Vince Russo. I mean, it's 23 years ago since WCW went under, 2001. I don't think many of these four guys can really wait another 23 years for another response, so it's good that the Nature Boy produced an apology a couple of days later. But let's go and talk about it, because I think the whole reason WCW died is the whole AOL, Time Warner. They didn't really want wrestling, alright? Yes, you can look at multiple people and be like, you're a wee bit to do there, you're a bit to do there, and you're a bit there, alright? But realistically, it was the fact that the TV company didn't want anything to do it. But Ric Flair has issued this apology. We're going to go into it, and I quote. Now, Ric Flair's actually got a very weird, before we get into it, obsession with capitalising every single word in his statement. There is not one word that doesn't start with a capital. And, I mean, that wouldn't really bother me, but it's the fact that he actually, when you're typing it, it's not like an autocorrect thing that's doing that. He's actually doing that on purpose. Hell, is this Ric Flair actually typing this? It probably is. But here, that 20k that he was going to throw around, maybe he paid somebody 20k to release this statement. But, and I quote, "A very important person in my life reminded me yesterday that Twitter is the weakest form of communication. I want to take this opportunity to apologise to Jim Herd, Eric Bischoff, and Vince Russo, because I really don't know. I unfairly judged you without knowing the inner workings and behind the scenes of the business on the corporate end with people you had to report to and work with. I wish on a personal note that all three of us could have worked together and had better relationships. For Vince calling me the GOAT, I appreciate that, and you did help my son to pursue his dream in wrestling. I'm going to do Eric Bischoff's podcast, but it won't be to bury anybody. It's to discuss our differences. At The Rock is making a movie on my life, and I'm in a great place. I hope this can all be put behind us." End of quote. So Ric Flair firmly tucking the tail between his leg. I mean, I haven't seen Bischoff respond to him. I don't even know what Jim Herd's up to these days, but Russo was really the only guy that did issue a proper response and essentially said to Rick, right, yo Rick, you're the man. And I put your family over, and I put your son in the limelight, boy. And Rick's kind of accepted this. And I mean, I think it's pathetic from Flair. It's like, he accused these three guys of killing it. And then in this apology, he's like, you know what, actually, I have no idea about the behind the scenes and all that stuff. And it's like, well, then you shouldn't have judged these three. You know, you shouldn't have come out and said that. Now, I get it, he said his sorries, and, you know, maybe we just have to accept them. But you look at Bret Hart as well. Like, there's more footage coming out for the documentary, but it's just like 56 seconds of Bret going on like a tyrant, swearing F-bombs. I mean, the only surprising thing is that he didn't actually blame Bill Goldberg somehow, but we've seen Bischoff respond to Bret saying that Bret was never there, he never dealt with the behind-the-scenes stuff, he was never there to even communicate with, talk to, he didn't know what was going on, and by the sounds of it, neither did Ric Flair. So you've got two guys, one on the documentary, one guy on his Insta/Twitter account, slavering to these three who are a big part in WCW over the years, and it's like, they weren't, so by the sounds of it, Ric Flair, WCW legend, but didn't really have a fucking Scooby snack about what was going on. Bret Hart, obviously not so much of a WCW legend, but was there for a decent period of time. And it's like, if you don't really know what you're on about, I would just keep your mouth shut. And it's like, look what Sting's done over the years. Respected WCW, didn't even go to WWE until like 2014, whatever. And he's never come out and said a bad word about WCW. Maybe Ric Flair and Bret Hart should just learn to shut up. Bret, you know what? See, if Goldberg didn't injure Bret, I can guarantee you, right, that in 2024, he probably wouldn't even be saying anything about WCW. But then saying that, he probably would. He's a bitter bastard. He's pathetic, and he doesn't really have anything else to do with his life other than be negative. So he probably would still have something. Oh, they only made me US champion. What's that all about? That's probably what he would say. But as for Ric Flair, he said his sorries, but here, how long until he tweets or rambles on a load of nonsense? I mean, the guy probably drinks every day, so it won't be too long away. But it'll be interesting to see if Bischoff or Russo respond to this. I just don't think Bischoff is really going to give it the time of day. As of right now, none of them have responded to it. But considering Vince Russo was very, level-headed and gracious with Flair, even though Flair literally called him out and said, "You killed WCW," I think Russo will take this apology and accept it. For Bischoff, maybe the jury's still out, guys. But anyway, leave your thoughts down below, and peace.